Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about a Goofy movie. Now this movie starts off as a dream sequence with our main character, Goofy's son, Max, being found in a cornfield following the voice of Roxanne. Now, it starts off going good. It starts off going good. Um, um, they laugh together, they lay in the grass together, and then all of a sudden, Roxanne is about to kiss him when she finds out that he has two buck teeth. Then she gets scared, and then he starts turning into his dad, Goofy, and then he wakes up because it was all a dream. And then he gets a call from his best friend PJ. Then he gets a call from his best friend PJ. And PJ and Pete and Pete and um and PJ is asking, is the plan still on? Because you're late for school. You should have been here an hour ago. So is the plan on or off? And then Max says, no way, man. The plan's on. It's now or never. Now, we don't know what this plan is, but we will soon find out. So Goofy comes into the room to see if Max have any dirty clothes, and his dad and his um to see if Max has any dirty clothes. And then Max says, I know, Dad, I'll take care of it later. And then his dad asks, what's the big rush? And then Max says, I'm running late for school. And then the dad asks, well, I could drive you on my way to work. And then with that, Max says, no, I need the exercise. And he accidentally vacuums. He accidentally vacuums the star power line into the vacuum. And then Max says, Dad, oh Dad, you ruined it. And then Goofy says, oh, sorry about that. Who was he anyway? And then Max says that he's only power line Dad, the biggest rock star on the planet. And then Goofy says, not bigger than the Mumbo King. So Goofy starts dancing with Max, trying to do the Mumbo. But Max says, oh Dad, I don't have time for this. How about the neighbor see us? And then Max runs out the door. Then Max runs out the door forgetting his lunch, and his dad brings his lunch to him and says, have a good day. And then the boys across the street laugh at him because 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 his dad gave him a kiss on the cheek. Guys, don't be laughing at my boy Goofy, alright? Just take care of his son. So don't you be laughing. That is sweet. That he packed him a lunch. He ran outside to give it to him. And then he just wants to tell his son that he loves him and have a good day. So don't you guys be laughing at that. That's sweet. But is again Max is again singing Max is singing the iconic song in the movie Today is the Day. No. I'm sorry, you guys, that wasn't the song. Today will be the day. He sang the iconic song, Today Will Be the Day, and then when he gets to school and the song's over, he falls down the stairs. And who helps him up, do you wonder? It's Roxanne. And he tried to talk to Roxanne, but then his laugh comes out like his father, feeling embarrassed with Max feeling embarrassed in front of Roxanne. He runs away. And then his best friend PJ actually stole the camera from his dad. And then his friend Bobby brought him a VCR. So their plan is to record him singing the new Powerline song to impress Roxanne. And they actually interrupt the school assembly. They actually interrupt a school assembly to actually play the song. And in the beginning, it starts to go well, and until the principal figures it out, he unplugged the whole thing, and PJ, Bobby, and Max all get detention. Meanwhile, Goofy is at his job, doing his job at the photo booth. Him and Pete taking pictures. They are both taking pictures when he gets a call. Saying that Max is in trouble, and the principal says, Mr. Goof, you may want to evaluate the way you're raising your child before you end up in the electric chair. So Goofy gets this idea to take Max fishing. Meanwhile, Max is over here. Meanwhile, Max is over here dancing, skateboarding, because in detention, Roxanne was looking at him. So her friend Stacy, who is throwing this Powerline party, by the way, to celebrate summer break coming. Oh, did I forget to mention they are actually on summer break. So Roxanne, just for some disclaimer, Roxanne already likes him, so. But he's a teenager, so he's gonna try hard to impress her. So anyway, when they saw each other in detention, Roxanne tried to get his attention by tapping on his shoulder. Max scared her on accident. So when he goes to help her pick up all her papers and books, they touch hands. And this is when Max actually exits there out. And actually she says she would love to go with Max. And so Max says, awesome, terrific, I will call you later. And her friend Stacy actually said, come on, Roxanne, we don't want to waste the moment now, do we? And so they're on their way to class while Max is doing the mumble over here. And then after he got doing the mumble with the secretary that works in the principal's office, this is when this is when Goofy got the call. So when Max gets home, he finds out about the fishing vacation. And since Goofy is going to be using the same map his dad used, his dad used the trip. The trip is going to take a while. So Max doesn't want to go, but then his dad guilts him into going with the puppy dog face. And he says, well, I'm just going to have to go by myself then. So Goofy pushes him in the car, and Max asks, why are you doing this to me, Dad? And the dad says, I don't want you to end up in the electric chair. Son, we are going to work this out by taking you. We are going to work this out. So, for some reason, he knows where Roxanne is. He knows where Roxanne's house is. So he told his dad to pull over at her house so he could cancel the date. But Roxanne's dad answered the door, and then Roxanne's dad just starts growling at him. And then he's about to leave, but then Roxanne tells her dad, it's okay, Dad. Max is just a friend from school. So, with this in mind, Max tells her that he can... that with this in mind, Max tells her that he cannot go with her to the party. And Roxanne says, oh, don't worry about it, Max. It's just a dumb party. And then Roxanne says, I'm sure I can find someone else. Now, this part right here had me going, okay. As soon as Roxanne was about to open the door, Max says, wait, my dad is taking me to the Powerline concert in LA. And then Roxanne asks, your dad is taking you clear across the country just to see a concert. And then Max says that his dad and Powerline used to play together in a band. And that maybe he could wave to Roxanne when they join Powerline for the final number. And Brock says, and this and this is when Roxanne says, "You're really serious," and then Max says, "Absolutely." And so, with this, Roxanne tells him to have a great time at the concert, and 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 and, and then this is when Roxanne kisses him on the cheek, and then he gets so dizzy, and then Max says, "I am in deep trouble." So while they're driving to Lake Destiny, the dad puts on some music, but Max puts on the rock and roll music, and then they end up, and then they end up destroying the tape that Goofy brought. And then we get to the second song, On the Open Road. And then after the song's over, Max's dad takes him to see the Possum Show live. And then after the Possum Show, Goofy wants to take a picture with him, but this Goofy Goofy wants to take a picture with him and with the possum. Guys, I know it's a movie, but I don't want to take a picture with a possum. I will do it with a friend, though. I'll take a picture with a friend, but you better remove that possum from my site, because I cannot take pictures with animals that are playing dead. I don't just like possums, but well, if it, well, to me, okay. Okay, so back to the movie. So when Max says, "You have got to be kidding," and then Goofy says, "All right, but you're missing out." So the possum mascot tries to hug him, and then Max says, "Don't even think about it." So he hits the possum mascot's mask. And then the possum says, wait. Then Max says, "Beat it, doofus." And then a bunch of little girls start attacking the mascot by trying to pull the mask off of the possum costume. And 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 after seeing this, Max Max then then after that happens, Max's dad, he looks at his dad, and Goofy is hanging upside down like the possum is. And Goofy, I have to give you a thumbs up because I wouldn't last upside down if somebody paid me. So I give you a thumbs up, my friend. So when Max sees this, he says, "Oh!" And then the possum ends up getting scared of the Flash, and then jumping in Max's pants, and then his dad thinks he's dancing. So the dad joins in and he takes Max's hand, but then everybody around them starts laughing. And then Max says, "Stop, Dad, this is embarrassing." And then he runs outside in the rain. And then when his dad gives him his hat back, Max says, "Oh, this is the stupidest vacation. You drive me from home, you take me to this junk car, and drive a million miles away to see some stupid possum show." And then Max says, "Call me when the trip's over." And then the next scene, we get them camping. Well, we get Max playing in the water with the stick. So when he's playing in the water, he actually sees Roxanne's reflection in the water, and then his dad and then his and then his dad and then and then his dad comes walking in the water and says, "Hey Max, do you want to get in some fishing practice? Just a few more days until we make it to Lake Destiny." And then Max says, "Maybe later." And so the next scene, we get Pete showing up with his RV. And not gonna lie, the RV he has does look cool. It had the bowling alley, a swimming pool. It has a grill. It had the grill. It had the flat screen TV. It's a really cool thing that they have with the RV. So he ends up parking the RV where Goofy's tent is, and then he ends up dropping the RV door. He then then he ends up dropping then he ends up dropping the RV door onto Goofy's head. But Goofy's okay. Goofy is okay. He ends up shaking it off. and he ends up being okay. So Max goes looking for PJ, and then for some reason PJ knows about the Powerline concert and that he's gonna be on stage. And 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 that Max is going to be on stage with Powerline, and then Max asks, "How do you hear about that?" And and then PJ says, "Oh, come on, everybody in town knows about it, Max. You're going to be famous, buddy, especially with Roxanne." And then Max says, "There's only one person who doesn't know about it yet." And then this is when PJ says, "Who?" And then Max says, "My dad." So while Pete is bowling, he's talking to Goofy. While Pete is bowling, he is talking to Goofy. And while Pete is bowling, he is talking to Goofy about keeping Max under his thumb. About keeping Max under his thumb. And I have to say, Pete's a really good bowler. So Goofy tries his technique. So Goofy tries. So Goofy tries. So Goofy. So Goofy tries Pete's technique. And and it actually works because because Pete's because Pete acts because um because 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 and 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 it actually works Pete because Pete asks Goofy and Max if they want to stay for dinner because they're having steak, and 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 um and and Goofy and Goofy and mm, mm, and when and this is when Goofy says, "No thanks, Pete. Me and Max have some fish to catch." And then Max says, "Oh, Dad, we could do that tomorrow. So what are we having?" So, 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 so Goofy, so Goofy says, so, um, so Goofy, so Goofy, um, so Goofy says, so Goofy's, so Goofy, So and so. Hmm. So Goofy says, "Well, Max, I thought," and then Pete says, "Under your thumb, Goof," and then and then this and then and then this and then this is when Goofy says, "Maximilian, get your stuff, little man. We're going fishing, and I mean now." So it starts to work, and then they go off fishing. So this starts to work, but I think what they did, but I think but um and don't take it from me. Don't take it from me, because even though I'm an adult, I'm not a Eve, even though I'm an adult, I am not a parent. But I do think Goofy's strategy, Goof, Goof, Goofy's strategy, Goofy's, um, um, wait, so don't take it from me, but I do think Goofy's strategy works better because he gives Max cut big 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 but 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 it's anyway. Back to back to the movie. Okay, so Goofy and Max go fishing, and Goofy teaches him the perfect cast. And I don't know how this worked, but Pete was grilling some steak, and one steak went missing from the grill because Goofy caught it and then threw it far, far, far away where Bigfoot was. And then Bigfoot grabbed the steak, put it in his mouth, and then and the fishing rod somehow took Bigfoot in the steak that Goofy caught on the rod and dragged them all the way up to the surface. And Max said, "Dad, that's Bigfoot!" And so they try to run from the car, and they get up to the sunroof. And they try to find the keys, but they don't find the keys because Bigfoot goes through all their luggage, and Bigfoot finds the keys, so they can't move. So they're stuck there all night. So since they're stuck there all night, Mac Max says how he is starving. So some alphabet soup comes onto the car. But then Bigfoot hears them, and he goes over to the car, but Max puts his dad hand inside of the car with the canned soup. And kids, if you are watching this, do not try this at home. So Max's dad uses a cigarette lighter to light the can in the car. I don't know how this is working, but he, but no 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 no. So he doesn't use a cigarette lighter. I'm sorry. He doesn't use a cigarette lighter. He uses a cigarette. Kids, do not try this at home. Use a can opener, please. Use a can opener. Or better yet, get an adult to open a can for you. So he uses the cigarette to melt the soup. And then when they're eating the soup, his dad his dad used to talk about back in the day when Max was young. He used to play this game called hide and seek, and he used to and 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 he and he and he used to use the letters in the soup to spell words. And then with a bit of quietness, Max starts to apologize for the way he acted, and Goofy starts to say something, but then they both talk over each other. But Goofy and Max start drinking the soup once the can is open. And Max and Goofy says how him and his dad used to do a lot together. And then Bigfoot goes to sleep. And then went then Bigfoot goes to sleep on top of the car. And then Goofy says, "Well, we'll get some sleep, but we're not going anywhere tonight." And then Max and then Then Max uses this when then in this one when then Max uses the soup to spell out "Hi, Dad," and then he shows his dad, and then the dad quietly says, "Hi, Maxie," as he sees a- 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 as as he sees Max falling asleep. So Max wakes up. He can't sleep because all of the snoring. So he writes a letter to Roxanne on a piece of paper. And then after he's done writing the letter, he says, "Oh man, I'm dead no matter what I do." And then in the glove compartment is the map, and the map falls right into his lap, and he and and he changes the map to LA instead of Lake Destiny. And then he puts the map back into the glove department. And then his dad wakes up. And then the dad asks, "How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?" And then Max says, 3.5. And then Goofy goes right back to sleep, not knowing what Max did. Keep this in mind during this next scene. And the next scene, we find them at a diner, and Max and Goofy are eating their breakfast. And then and then Goofy says and then and then and then and then and then wait then when then Goofy says when then went and just went and just went then then Goofy says, "Max, I think we need to talk about this." And then he holds out the map, and and um and you think Goofy would know that Max changed the map, right? But no. Goofy wanted Max to make all the steps from here to Lake Destiny because he trusted his son so hard, because he trusts his son so much. So this is a beautiful moment because he makes because 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 he wait, because he makes an announcement to all the diner people that he is putting Max in charge. And then they clink their glasses to the open road, and then we get a beautiful father and son montage. Then Pete shows up and tells Goofy that because they meet at the hotel by accident, and then and then Pete asks if he could hook up the RV. So Goofy says okay, and then they order pizza, and then when Pete goes in for a slice of the boys' pizza, he's overhearing PJ saying to Max, "You changed the map? What would make you do a stupid idea like that?" And then Pete tells Goofy that Max changed the map, but Goofy doesn't believe him until he goes out to the car. And then he pulls out the map, then he goes back to the room, and then he can't even speak, he is so devastated. So, when he wakes up the next morning, they are still on their way to Lake Destiny. When Goofy says, "Alright, Max, now this is it, left or right?" And then Max says left. Then Goofy gets mad and they pull over. Then Goofy gets out of the car. And then Max tries to tell him, but Goofy doesn't want to listen. Well, it's not like he doesn't want to listen. He's just feeling hurt right now. He is feeling very, very hurt because he trusted his son. And then when Max tries to rest on the car starts rolling away because the brake is not on. So they catch up to the car, and then Goofy says, "Well, you're the one who wanted to take this vacation." And then 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 well, you're the one who wanted to take this vacation, Goofy says. And then Max says, I never wanted to go on this stupid vacation. And they're saying all this while they're bouncing on some rocks. Let me tell you something here. This is a movie. So this is why they're bouncing on rocks. And if they hit the water, if it wasn't for that car, they would drown. They would have drowned. But they are sitting on top of the car, going in the ocean, and they are fighting, be, because Goofy says because okay so while they so 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 while they're in the ocean, mm, mm, Mac, Max says to Goofy, "See, Dad, this is why you should have just let me stay at home." And then Goofy says, "Why? So you end up in prison? Your principal called me and you lied to me." And then this is when Max says, "I had to. You were ruining my life." And then Goofy says, "I was only trying to take my boy fishing, okay?" And then this is when Max says, "I'm not your little boy anymore, Dad. I'm growing up. I got my own life now." And then, and then, and then, and then, and then, and then this is when Goofy says, "You're my son, Max. No matter how big you get, you will always be my son." And then we get the iconic song, "Nobody Else But You." And then and then Max finally tells them the truth that he only changed the map so he could go to the Powerline concert with Powerline so he can impress Roxanne. And you know what the dad says? The dad says the only thing to do now is get you on stage with this Powerline fella. And then they go rolling down the river, but Max ends up saving his dad and they end up hugging. And then the map ends up falling on Max's head, and Max ends up saying, "Wow, this has been one crazy vacation." And then Goofy says, "It's not over yet." They hide in instrument bags, and then they get lost for a second, but Goofy ends up on stage, and Max gets chased by a security guard on top of the lights, and Max and and Max and and Max ends up and Max and and when and Max ends up on stage with Powerline, and they end up dancing. And then at the end, Goofy and then and then at the end, Max ends up telling Roxanne the truth that she never knew Powerline, that he just made it up to impress her, and and this is and this is when Roxanne says, "I already like you, Max, from the very first time I heard you laugh. From the very first time I heard you laugh." And then Roxanne, and then, and then, and then, and then, wait, and then, wait, and then Roxanne asked Max if he wanted it. If he wanted to do something that night. But Max says he can't because he's kind of spending time with his dad. But how about tomorrow? And then Roxanne agrees. And then Max kisses her. And then they both do the laugh. And then Roxanne giggles. Well, actually, Max does his dad's laugh. And Roxanne giggles. Then Goofy ends up falling into and Goofy ends up falling into Roxanne's house, the top of her house. And then Goofy ends up meeting Roxanne, and they all laugh together. Oh, by the way, you never get to see their date until you watch the Mouse House Max's First Date. They ended up having a pretty good date. And that is the end of the movie. And if you wanna and if you want to see another Goofy movie, stay tuned because I will be doing another Goofy movie tomorrow, an extremely Goofy movie. Bye and see you guys in my next video.